how to ground a pot, how to solder a braided wire to a pot, and just some general tips on getting your solder to stick. First of all RS pots and CTS pots are covered with a very thin layer of tin or solder. Underneath they're aluminum, so if you've read somewhere on the internet that you're supposed to sand this off in order to get the solder to stick, if you do that with the RS pots or the CTS pots, you're sanding off the very thing that helps the solder stick to the pot. So don't need to sand it or anything like that. All you need is proper soldering technique. So what we're going to do first, we're going to ground the pot, and here's the lug we're going to ground to the pot. So we just carefully bend it back so it's almost touching the pot. You don't have to do anything more than that. And what we'll do is we'll get our soldering iron and our solder, and I'll heat the joint first, just right there, just like that. And then I'll flow my solder in. Just like that. I've grounded a pot. Okay, now another big problem for a novice solderers is getting their braided wire to stick to a pot when they've got it installed in the guitar. So if we orient the pot here for our demonstration like it would be in a guitar. There we go, got that set up. Here's our little small sample piece of braided wire. We're going to peel back some of the braid and push it back. Hard to do with the gloves on, so I'm going to get myself a little help here. So now we've pulled it back like that, and we're left with the black cotton covering, and we'll also pinch that a little bit and pull it back. So there we go. First thing I do is I will tin or pre-solder the tip of the wire just like that. Doesn't need much. Another thing I like to do is I will go on the pot itself and I will heat and tin the leg that I'm going to solder to. And so we'll just slide it right on in, just like that. Heat the joint, and it's in. Just let it sit for a minute. You don't need to blow on it or anything like that. And after it sits, we'll push the cotton to pinch it and push it towards our leg in the pot so that it's covered up and nothing can touch it. Now, let's solder this braid to the back of the pot like we're going to ground it. Alright, for this operation you'll need a regulation flat screwdriver, and we'll use this to hold the wire down. Now, what we'll do is we'll heat our braided wire where we're going to solder it. Let's get it good and hot. There, it's probably about 5 seconds or so. And now that's hot, we can flow our solder into it, and it'll stick. Now I'm going to place our little solder joint right there in the back of the pot. So I'll just hold it down like this, get it hot, lay the solder into the hot joint. There we go, a nice, clean solder joint. Nice and shiny, nice and smooth. Now if we were to I'm going to use the other end of this wire, but let's pretend this is coming from the switch. We would repeat the process. Bend the braid back a little bit. Push this back a little bit. We'll tin the end. Doesn't take much. We'll heat the leg of our pot. Just put a little bit of solder in there like that. We'll take the lead end from the switch right in there, just like that. Let it cool off. Once it's cool, we'll push our cotton braid down. go down. If not, you can always cheat. Push it out the back and just clip off the extra. Now we'll pull our braid down. Remember, this wire is from our pickup. This R we're pretending is from the switch, just for this demonstration. I know it's one piece of wire, but you have to go with me on this. So, heat it up. Blow some solder in. Let it cool off. I'll use my screwdriver to hold it up next to this other wire that we soldered on. I'll use the solder that's already on this wire to kind of help the other solder on this wire kind of stick to it. So we'll heat it and push it together like that. And all finished. Now I'm going to lay one more little bead of solder right here on the back of the pot to secure it. So we'll heat the pot. Doesn't take much. Flow in our solder. And just kind of lay it down nice and easy. All done.